CBS News has obtained an internal memo from the Department of Homeland Security. The headline, less than 14% of nearly 400,000 people arrested by ICE since President Donald Trump took office have charges or convictions for violent criminal offenses. DHS has said that the administration is going after, quote, the worst of the worst. Senior investigative reporter Jennifer Mayerly is digging into the numbers.
She joins us now from the newsroom. And Jen, what do we know?
Well, the document reveals is numbers for across the country. It breaks down what criminal history, if any, a person detained by ICE has. When we're talking about the less than 14%, that's for people with charges or convictions for homicide, robbery, sexual assault, arson, or kidnapping. The rest fall into another category. So take a look at this graph. You can see a breakdown of the offenses I mentioned. It adds in dangerous drugs and DUI on that left-hand side. Other crime accounts for roughly 30%. That's that lower left. But look at the right part of the pie on your screen. It found nearly 40% of people detained had no criminal record. And they were only accused of civil immigration offenses, things like living in the U.S. illegally or overstaying their time here. We spoke with a local immigration attorney who said all of her clients fall into that category and are in some sort of application process. She said out of the roughly 24 clients detained by ICE, the most that's on a record was a parking ticket for a snow emergency.
Publicly, what they're saying is they're trying to find the worst of the worst and get the dangerous people off the streets. But in my experience, they're arresting people who are applying for family visas, who have already applied for asylum, who are going to their check-ins and their court dates on time. They're not people who are unknown to the government.
All right, a DHS spokesperson responded to the CBS reporting saying drug trafficking, distribution of child pornography, burglary, fraud, DUI, embezzlement, solicitation of a minor, human smuggling are all categorized as non-violent crimes. It goes on to say, like we said, about 70% of those illegal aliens arrested under President Trump and Secretary Noem have pending criminal charges or prior convictions. All right, so we are breaking down Minnesota data from Homeland Security's worst of the worst list. We'll share that ahead at 6 and look at how it compares to this latest information. Amelia, Aaron.
I'll look forward to that, Jen. Thank you.
A lot of the immigration crackdown in Minnesota involves the Whipple Federal Building at Fort Snelling.
It is a place under heavy scrutiny. Human rights advocates are suing, saying that the facility isn't equipped to house this many people. A judge granted the Advocates for Human Rights group the opportunity to perform an inspection at Whipple. That happened this morning. The group is accusing the facility of not having enough beds, functioning bathrooms, or private phones. We have reached out to the group to learn about their findings, but we have not heard back yet.
In South Minneapolis, some neighbors are taking a different approach to keeping watch in their community. Groups have been gathering at intersections, slowing the flow of traffic as they look out for one another. Police have stepped in at several locations, raising questions about safety and legality. WCCO's Derek James has a closer look.
Organizers call them filter blockades, and they are set up at intersections like this one. The goal is to slow but not stop traffic so that neighbors can attempt to identify possible ICE vehicles. This weekend, we saw a bunch of them across South Minneapolis. Many look like pop-up block parties in the middle of city streets with fires, music, and food. Minneapolis police attempted to clear this blockade at 35th and Bloomington twice, but community members returned and rebuilt the blockade as soon as police left. Our cameras were also at 38th and Oakland as an officer asked people to move items that were blocking traffic. These neighbors agreed, saying they want safety as they work to identify if federal agents are in their neighborhood.
I'm concerned about that. If I need the ambulance at my house, I want it to be able to get there, fairly promptly.
State law makes it a misdemeanor to block a right-of-way, but some, as we've seen, are still doing it. Coming up all new at 6, how the city is responding to these pop-up filter blockades. In South Minneapolis, Derek James, WCCO News.
Ben and Sam Luman have been documenting ICE activities for months. The teenage brothers were born in Minneapolis, but now live in Chicago. Both are legal observers. They started last fall in Chicago during Operation Midway Blitz, where more than 200 ICE and Border Patrol agents were sent. They then hit the road and arrived in Minneapolis the day after Renee Good was shot and killed. They spent 3 weeks here taking hours of video showing ICE agents in Minnesota clashing with protesters and other observers. The brothers say that the tactics used by these agents here are far more aggressive than what they witnessed in Chicago, adding that what they recorded often contradicted the public statements made by the Department of Homeland Security.
With the greater presence, it seems that they just felt like they had the power to do anything. So like just destroying the community and brutalizing people. It was every single day that they were doing something that was just hurting our neighbors.
In Minneapolis, there was just so many more agents. Like, it seemed more like an invasion compared to just like little operations here and there in Chicago.
The brothers are now back home in Chicago, but new at 6, we hear about their encounters and why they may come back to the Twin Cities. There was a different kind of protest at a Robbinsdale District middle school today.
As Jonah Kaplan reports, it didn't go as students first envisioned, but they agree that it probably worked out for the better.
Lift every voice and sing.
300 students singing Lift Every Voice.
We have come.
Not just an anthem, but a call for positive action.
Loud as the rolling sea.
And that was also the challenge to students from the principal of the Fair School in Crystal, who did not support the idea of a school walkout.
We're a school of the arts. Our kids are very creative, and so I like them at any time to use their creative thought process in everything that we do.
Challenge accepted, and thus came this chain of love.
When was the last time you saw paper chains? How'd you get the idea?
I think the last time I saw a paper chain was last year when we were counting down the days till summer.
6th grader Bryn Halupnik recruited hundreds of others to draw, write, and stamp words of encouragement when so many are feeling depressed or scared.
There are many ways of protesting, and some people prefer different ways. And if you have the courage to do that, it's great, but it's not always going to be the best way. I'm going to remember those that have gone through this, and I'm going to think about how this is not something I would ever expect to go through, and that it's way more than just my life, and it's other people's lives too.
The chain might come down eventually, but the bond between neighbors unbreakable. In Crystal, Jonah Kaplan, WCCO News.